President Trump signaled these strikes earlier Wednesday at the NATO summit in Ankara. Tonight, President Trump says that he is bombing Iran in, quote, retribution for attacks by Iran on ships. We're targeting ships transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has confirmed that it launched retaliatory strikes on U.S. military bases in Kuwait and Bahrain overnight, and called them first phase of the punitive response against the American treaty breakers. U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, said the most recent round of strikes was carried out to further degrade Iran's ability to attack commercial shipping and innocent civilian mariners in the vital waterway. Nick Skifrin. But today, President Trump praised Ukraine's long-range attacks on Russian energy targets. The next diplomatic step is what leaders put on the summit record after the meetings. This increases international tensions, global warming, and the changing world economy have put Greenland at the heart of the debate over global trade and security. President Donald Trump wants to ensure his country controls the mineral-rich island that guards the Arctic and North Atlantic approaches to North America. Greenland's own government opposes U.S. designs on the island, saying the people of Greenland will decide their own future. Greenland is very important to the United States, but it's not important to Denmark, Trump said Wednesday during a NATO summit. We need it for protection of the world, not just the United States. Russian military officials have said that the site is ready for resuming the tests if necessary. Keep context bounded. One timeline point, one explainer, one useful detail, and one uncertainty at most. A three-judge panel on Wednesday denied a request from the Kennedy Center's board to restore President Donald Trump's name to the institution, while the board appeals an earlier ruling that dubbed the name change illegal and had it rescinded. The Kennedy Center did not immediately respond to requests for comment on this latest legal development. The federal judge who initially ruled on this issue has now been affirmed. This adds another setback for those seeking to keep Trump associated with the Arts Center. The latest ruling by a three-judge panel adds yet another hurdle as the Board of Trustees led by President Donald Trump continues their appeal against an earlier decision that deemed the name change unlawful and had it rescinded. The federal judge who initially made this determination has now been affirmed in his ruling, further complicating efforts to restore Trump's name at the Kennedy Center. The latest annual financial disclosures of the U.S. Supreme Court reveal that several justices have earned income through book sales. This highlights a previously unreported source of revenue for the highest court in the land. These reports show how their writings and personal lives are reflected financially, with gifts and travel expenses also noted as part of their compensation packages. The significance lies in shedding light on the financial aspects of judicial work beyond salaries. This offers transparency into how justices supplement their incomes through publishing deals and other ventures tied to their legal opinions. Supreme Court officials have not yet commented publicly on these disclosures. This leaves open questions about future reporting requirements or public disclosure practices for high court members. Supreme Court financial disclosures reveal how their books add to their income. Paul Salmon, a retiree who lived in Maryland for several years, has returned to her home state of Georgia to care for her 96-year-old mother. The move is driven by financial strain as Social Security and savings fall short, forcing many retirees like Salmon to unretire due to economic necessity rather than choice. In recent months, stories have emerged about older Americans facing similar challenges, such as a 78-year-old food delivery driver in California who has returned to work after retiring. These anecdotes highlight the difficulties of finding employment and making ends meet for those forced back into paid roles by rising living costs. The trend underscores broader economic pressures on retirees, with many unable to rely solely on pensions or Social Security benefits. As a result, older Americans are unretiring at an unprecedented rate, often grappling with limited job opportunities and financial insecurity. Officials have not yet issued any specific guidance for those facing similar circumstances. This leaves the future of Salmon's situation uncertain until more concrete steps can be taken. Until then, her care remains a priority as she navigates this unexpected return to work. On Monday, they were well beaten by Belgium 4-1 and never reached the heights of previous games. Now, the morning after the nightmare in Seattle. There's gratitude for all the excitement, but also the sense of a missed opportunity. The American squad was stacked with players performing in Europe's top leagues, and in coach Mauricio Pochettino they had one of the world's foremost coaches. Many pointed to the actions of U.S. President Donald Trump, who asked FIFA to review a red card ban imposed on the team's main goal scorer. Cup in the modern era, when they reached the last 8 in 2002. Afterwards, Pochettino said his team were never in the game and a learning process would begin to explore why. Adams said it had been a bad day and they had come up short. The next step is how the result changes the standings, and what the teams or competitors do next.